Well, hello and welcome to the Informed Traveler Podcast, a weekly travel podcast where our goal is to help you become a more informed traveler. And I'm your host, Randy Sharman. Travel expert Onanta Forbes was supposed to be leaving for a river cruise in Europe next week, but the cruise was canceled at the last minute, so now what? We'll discuss what happens with a last-minute river cruise cancellation. And then we'll head to Franklin, Tennessee, a historic town located only minutes south of Nashville, known for its beautifully preserved main street, Civil War history, vibrant music scene, boutique shopping, and outstanding Southern dining. It's got a lot going for it, so I'm excited to hear more later in the podcast. But first, let's kick things off, chatting with travel expert Onanta Forbes, who joins us each week to talk about the latest travel news, trends, and travel tips in general. You can follow her on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Onanta Forbes. OnantaForbes.com is her website. Hello, Onanta.
How are you enjoying the heat?
I love it. I
Do
love
you?
the heat. Yes.
Good stuff.
I will take plus 30 over minus 30 any day of the year. So it's all good. So you were supposed to be going on a river cruise soon, but unfortunately that got canceled. So let's start with the whole story of where you were going to go and who you were cruising with and why you got canceled. And what do you do after that?
Right. So, and the reason why I asked you how you're enjoying the heat is because Europe has experienced a heat wave. And the heat wave is affecting the water levels on the Rhine and on the Danube. So the reason why our ship couldn't go is they couldn't go further than Koblenz in Germany. And we were going further into Slovenia and Serbia and then ending up in near Munich, starting off in Bucharest. So it is what it is. Things happen in travel, as we all know. And what I'm grateful for, I got told before I left Canada, because I was supposed to leave a couple of days before the cruise started. Mm-hmm. So this way, I was able to figure out things and cancel things before I left Canada, because there are some people that were affected for cruises that were going out of Budapest that got there, then they got told. Because so that's a little tough sometimes, right?
Well, it's interesting you say that. Just to interrupt, my brother-in-law and his wife were in Europe, and they were there a couple weeks before. They were there for about a month, and they were doing a river cruise. Fortunately, the river cruise did not get canceled. But that's a good point. I never even thought of that. Like, if you're making a river cruise part of a longer journey and suddenly it's canceled, now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm already in Europe or wherever. Now you got to scramble to get accommodations and things.
Yeah, and it's busy. It's high season right now as well. So you have to consider cost, you have to consider availability, and you just have to either if you've done it on your own, do it on your own. But if you have a travel agent, they can help you along the way. And I have to say, European river cruises are one of the most relaxing ways to travel. You unpack once, you sail into historic city centers, you can sit, in your cabin if you have a nice balcony, window or balcony or on deck, and just watch castles and, central villages just drift by. But it does happen that things are affected. It's not a lot, but it does happen. And unlike ocean cruises, river cruise depends entirely on water levels. And the most effective rivers are the Rhine, the Danube, the Elbe, Main, and Moselle. And it usually occurs between July and October. But you can also get high water from spring flooding, so the opposite, that occasionally can disrupt itineraries. So just remember one thing, the cruise isn't canceled because of one bad day. The cruise line monitors the river conditions and adjusts itineraries where necessary. And in my cancellation notice, it said that they didn't see any change for the foreseeable future. So I think I'm going with Avalon. They canceled their July sailings for this route and for other routes as well.
Wow.
So if low water is your biggest concern and if you're going in summer, one of the most dependable rivers is the Seine in France. And it's because it's it's regulated water levels.
Mm-hmm.
It has reliable rainfalls and it makes low water disruptions relatively uncommon. Saying that, there's always a caveat or a
Yes, of
disclaimer,
course.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, these ships aren't very big. So, you're looking at only maybe 200 to 300 passengers. So you should book in advance to get the best cabins and pricing. So 9 to 18 months. May and September are the most popular months. Suites disappear first. And then if you book early, airfare is often cheaper. And right now, airfare is affected, right? Because of
Mm-hmm.
the different scenarios in the world. So it is, if you are flexible and adventurous, last minute deals can appear, but then availability is more limited. So I can
Mm-hmm.
attest to that. So I look for other alternatives. And then, for the best time to cruise, each season is different. So spring, a lot of people go for tulip time
Mm-hmm.
and the blossoms, cooler temperatures and fewer crowds.
Mm.
Early summer, it's nice to have those long daylight hours. The weather's pleasant and the vineyards are beautiful. And then autumn, fall colors, food festivals. And again, another season to enjoy is Christmas markets. If you're a shopper, Christmas in Europe it maybe feels a little bit more authentic, more traditional, more history behind it, and so it's a fun way to go, but it is cooler. So you just have to prepare accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
And then, for me, I'm glad I had travel insurance because it covers me for trip cancellation, delay, and missed connections as well as cancellations.
Mm.
So it's good to have insurance. Now, my cruise was canceled by the cruise line, so I get a full refund. They
Yeah.
also offered me the opportunity to rebook at a different time or go to Avalon as part of Globus family of brands. So they said if you wanted to look at like a bus tour, I could
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Okay.
So there was opportunities, right,
Yeah.
to look at. Um, and then, when you go on a river cruise, you just have to consider those cabins are smaller than hotel rooms. So consider that for how you pack. And then when you're at destination, always wear comfortable walking shoes because you're going to be over cobblestone streets because that's what Europe is built on. Pack in layers because the weather can change. Get a rain jacket, a portable charger. Saying that a lot of the cruise ships have good Wi-Fi, but it depends on where you are because the Wi-Fi might not be as reliable
Mm-hmm.
as always. And then a small day pack for when you go out. So the question you ask is what happens if my cruise cancels?
Yeah.
And so when I was doing my research, the complete cancellations are relatively uncommon. I go, I'm that person that had the complete
You're your
cancellation.
first client that got canceled.
And it's true. In all my years of travel, I sell a lot of river cruises. I've never had any of my clients have to redirect because of a cancellation, but it's okay. Life goes on.
Now,
I'm
my with the airfare, did you book it all in one kind of package, or did you do your airfare separately? Because that would be an incident where trip interruption or cancellation would come in separately, or how did that work?
right. So I actually booked my flights with Airplan. So I got my points back, but then Airplan now charges you a cancellation penalty.
Mm-hmm.
When I booked the going to Europe on a one itinerary and coming back on a different itinerary, so two bookings, right? So
Yeah.
they charged me twice for
Oh my
cancellation.
goodness.
Thank you, Airplan. You're a doll. But anyway, some people book, and this is why they book it, their air with the cruise line,
Mm,
because then the cruise line is, I'm going to use this word very loosely, liable to
yeah.
either help you with the changes or a refund because they
Good.
cancel their cruise.
Yeah.
Some people book independently the air for whatever reason. So then we're going to have to look at the cancellation policy of the airline because They honestly don't care that your cruise canceled because it's a separate entity.
That's what I was thinking too, because you're not canceling because of illness or whatever is under the conditions of trip interruption or cancellation. You're just canceling because your cruise got canceled, and so what, as far as they're concerned, right?
Yeah, that's right. So there's a few things that can happen when your cruise is affected. The ship could change its itinerary totally. You could skip one port and visit another. They could do a ship swap. So passengers are transferred to a sister ship, which is an identical ship waiting on the other side of the shallow section. And that sounds inconvenient, but the cruise lines are pretty efficient at organizing these transfers, and it's the crew that does it. You don't have to be lugging your stuff. They do a bus bridge, so this is where you can board a coach and travel around the affected section of the water and then rejoin another ship. So your vacation continues. And then you could get a modified cruise, which instead of sailing through one section, you'll spend additional time docked in another city, which with included excursions. So, what should you do when you're notified? So if you booked with a travel agent, they will tell you and they will help you. So don't panic, you have help. And then river cruise companies, they deal with, I guess, these situations regularly. So you should be waiting for the official communication. So what happened with me, they phoned me and I wasn't able to grab the phone. So they left me a message and I still hadn't gotten any written official communication. And then I had to phone to find out what was happening. But still, it takes time to manage it.
Yeah.
And then avoid relying on social media because it's just not going to help you. It's just going to be a rumor, And so if you book directly with the cruise line, or your travel agent will ask you, is the sailing still operating? Will there be a ship swap? Will hotels be provided? Are excursions changing? Will flights need adjustment? So lots of other things that could happen. So depending on the situation, they may offer you an alternative sailing date, partial refund or full refund, future cruise credits, hotel accommodation, and ground transportation. So you do need, and I do recommend it because it's a lengthy document. Read your booking conditions before you travel so there's no surprises. And nobody does, really. Honestly.
Well, yeah. Who does that?
Yeah.
Lawyers do,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Right. Yes. So it is a situation that does happen, but it can happen in other forms of travel. That we all know that, we've talked about it. So you just have to. You can't get crazed because what's gonna happen? You're just gonna yell at your partner. What's happening? And you don't want that.
Well, it's out of your control, right? So you can only do so much. Just plan for the next one. That's all.
Well, that's it exactly. And, yes, it's hard sometimes if you're working and you have set holidays, you might not be as flexible. But, if you can be flexible, I think, maybe there's another opportunity that's even better than what you had originally planned. So look at it that way.
Always look on the bright side, right?
That's it. That's it exactly.
Onanta Forbes is a travel expert. You can follow her. You could have followed her on a river cruise, but not now. On Instagram, Facebook, and X at Onanta Forbes, and OnantaForbes.com is her website. Good chatting, good advice, Onanta. Thank you so much.
Take care. Have a good week.
This is the Informed Traveler Podcast. I'm Randy Sharman. Just want to remind you of our website, theinformedtraveler.org. That's where you can find our contact page if you have any questions or comments about the podcast. You can also email me, too, with any questions you might have. My email address is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. You can check out our social media pages, too, at facebook.com/informedtraveler, Instagram @informedtraveler, or on X @informedtraveler. That's where you'll you'll find a number of videos and photos from our recent and past interviews and stories. Plus, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter. It's released at the beginning of every month. Our July issue is available now. Just go to our website, theinformedtraveler.org, click on the newsletter button, and it will take you right there. Or better yet, you can subscribe to it and have it arrive in your inbox each month. So let's head to Franklin, Tennessee now, a historic town located only minutes south of Nashville, known for its Civil War history, vibrant music scene, boutique shopping, and outstanding Southern dining. It's got a lot going for it. So joining us now to share more about Franklin is Matthew Maxey. He is the Senior Director of Public Relations with Visit Franklin, Tennessee. Hello, Matthew.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Randy.
Well, I'm pretty excited to learn about Franklin, Tennessee. I'm also pretty sure that most people have heard about Nashville, but maybe not Franklin, which is not far from Nashville, which is I think is a pretty good blessing, because people can kind of get the best of both worlds, visit Franklin and explore all the great things you have to offer, and then scoot over and see what Nashville has to showcase too, right?
I completely agree. For just to orient folks, we're really only 15 minutes from downtown Nashville, from downtown Franklin, and it's because we are in a music part of the country. I use the analogy a lot that, like, think of Nashville as like the big arena show with all the lights and neon and stuff like that. Franklin's a little bit more of the slower, almost acoustic version of that. So it's a little slower paced, and but the music is still kind of permeating everything that we do around here too.
Mm-hmm. Well, perfect analogy, I think. Lots of history, music, as you mentioned, culture. Just talk in general about Franklin. Give me a sort of an overview. I know you already did. It's like very close to Nashville, but slower paced, which I like, and I think maybe a lot of people might like.
Yeah, it's overall Franklin, just kind of touching on that sense of place a little bit more. 25 years ago, if you said, "Oh, that's just another little suburb of Nashville," you would have been totally right. But kind of on the corporate side of life, about 25 years ago, corporate headquarters started relocating to Franklin, and now there's over 200 national and international corporate headquarters here. So that has helped spark a lot of the growth overall of Franklin. And with that has come kind of the lifestyle and tourism aspect of that as well. We are a Civil War town. The Battle of Franklin happened in our historic downtown area, which is kind of separated from our corporate part of town. And so when people come, they can experience all the kind of the fresh and new and like largest malls in Tennessee kind of stuff if they want to in the corporate side of town. Or if you come into the historic downtown, which is just 5 minutes away kind of from that corporate center area, you're going to see 16 square blocks of really what looks like a Norman Rockwell painting come to life, or Hallmark movies come to in real life. You're going to experience that with the Civil War history that is baked in here as well. That battle happening in our downtown really left some scars around here that are still visible. So I like to say, history folks can come and visit, and you can experience the history in Franklin in 3 hours or 3 days, kind of depending on how deep you want to go. There's enough to come and dive in really deep for 3 days and go to different homes and battlefields and see what it was like. Or if you're kind of a little more casual history fan, you're going to see placards, and it's going to be throughout the downtown and the area, and you're going to kind of notice it and see it, whether you're looking for it or not.
Well, I am one of those history folk, and as soon as you said Civil War, it's like my ears perked up, because I'm a bit of a Civil War buff. So amazing. I could probably spend a whole week there and bore my family with wanting to visit all the sites. But if you go on your website, visitfranklin.com, there is so many of those historic homes and mansions and battle sites and things like that you can explore. You can also, if you're a music buff, which I am, especially country music, that's right there as well, isn't it?
It is. It's music really, I say it permeates everything we do, because it really is just kind of woven into the fabric. Just so many of those names that make Nashville famous actually live here, and so do their producers and songwriters, and just so many connected to the music world are around here. So people playing the lunch hour at the barbecue restaurant on Main Street, many of them have gone on to play, arenas and are on the radio daily now. So it just is everywhere. There are studios around. kind of really uniquely in Franklin. There are music studios where you can go stay. So there's a place called Dark Horse Recording Studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's half the names in music that you can think of have probably recorded there at some point over the last 30 years. It's still an active studio now, but because of the way music recording has changed, the bands and artists don't have to come and stay for days or weeks on end to record an album now. But this place still has all the lodging for when they did. So they opened it up on Airbnb and said, let's invite the world to come stay in this really unique place. So you can literally book a room or up to 7 rooms on Airbnb, and you've got full run of the place while recording's happening. So the 1-bedroom option literally like shares a wall with the studio. So while people are there recording, you just stand on the other side of the glass and can see it happen. Or,
that would be so cool.
You might be there for, cereal in the morning together.
That would be so cool. You never know who you might run into, right? As you mentioned, some pretty big names still might be lurking in the hallways haphazardly, right?
Yeah, this is the studio Taylor Swift did most of her first album there, and that's coming up on its 20-year anniversary. But it's the Dolly Partons, Keith Urbans, Carrie Underwoods of the world have recorded there, and it's far from just country. I mean, it's their Dave Mustaine kind of folks have recorded there, and rock and roll legends, and Neil Diamond. So it's far more than just country as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And well, exactly. Yeah. There's much more music genres available there than just country music. So if I'm not a Civil War buff and I don't really care much for music, what are some of the other attractions that people could enjoy when they're in Franklin?
One of the best things about Franklin is it's just a place you can slow down and just kind of do things at a slow, leisurely pace, whether that's kind of in the historic downtown, just meandering throughout Main Street, popping in and out of shops and coffee shops, and just taking things at a slow pace. It's one of the things I really notice around our offices here in the downtown core. When you walk around downtown, people aren't looking down at phones, like they're not distracted. Their heads are up, they're chatting with neighbors, and it really is just a sense of people are enjoying the environment around them. Mm-hmm. And you can just kind of feel that vibe, and it's almost hard to describe without just your feet being here and everyone's being present, which is kind of different in a lot of places these days.
Just for sure.
That's one aspect. And then we can certainly go out to the whiskey distilleries, and the second largest winery in Tennessee is here in Franklin. So there's lots of outdoor options. If people want to rent a fancy car and go on a drive down a protected scenic byway, the Natchez Trace Parkway runs right through Franklin. So that makes a great kind of road trip option, or you just want to roll the windows down, turn some of that music up loud, and see beautiful scenery. You can do that as well.
Very nice. How easy is it to get to Nashville? To get to Nashville. If I didn't want to drive a car, is there like transport back and forth that way?
Yeah, we're 35 minutes from the terminal at Nashville International Airport. So there are hundreds of direct flights in and out of there every day. It's one of the fastest growing airports in the country. And then once getting here, you can rent a car to get around is probably easiest, but Lyft, Uber options are certainly available as well.
Well, yeah, and if you're only 15 minutes away, that can't be a huge cost either, right?
Correct. Yes, I think the last time I took an Uber to the airport, it was like $35, and that was during rush hour.
Nice. Okay, so we talked about history, music. What are some of the cultural events that Franklin has coming up or year-round?
I say some of the year-round ones that we're really known for is our downtown kind of converts into a festival haven a couple of times a year. The 16 square blocks of our historic downtown, each April, there is just a classic Main Street festival where it's everything you would expect if you've watched a Hallmark movie and they have those town festivals. This is really it come to life with different live music happening. There's taste of the town all over. Local artisans and craft makers are there, and just entertainment talent around and community coming together. That happens each April. We do it again in October, kind of with a fall theme. So it's kind of the same thing, orange and pumpkin spiced variety of that. But then the largest one is in December each year. It's a Dickens of a Christmas. So hundreds of Charles Dickens characters come to life. It's a Victorian village throughout the downtown area, and you can just interact with all things holiday throughout the year. Throughout the festival there.
Yeah, cool. So if you're taking me for lunch somewhere, what's one of your favorite spots, and what do I got to try? I'm putting you on the spot here, I guess.
If it's your first time and we have to have a little story with some taste, we're going to go to Puckett's Grocery and Restaurant. It's a place that started as a grocery 50 plus years ago. They started making a little barbecue out front to draw in a few more customers. Then when that started working, they had some musicians show up, start playing a little music. Fast forward 50 years, it's now a place that has expanded across Tennessee and into Alabama and is known for where stars get discovered. So it's guys like Thomas Rhett and Walker Hayes.
Nice.
Riley Pierce have all got their start on the little stage at the barbecue restaurant in downtown Franklin.
So you never know, you might be seeing the next superstar of the music world.
That's very true. And it's just last week I was having lunch at Puckett's, and there was a top 5 contestant from American Idol was literally playing at lunch hour.
Cool. Lots of cool stuff to do. Anything I missed you might want to add?
What's kind of on the history front, I would say it's as a Civil War town, we're a little different than most. And it's because our battle happened in the downtown. It's not just going out to a large field and kind of looking at what might have used to be there and things like that. In the downtown, you're going to find a lot of stuff as you're walking to the pizza place or the coffee shop. You're going to walk past these spots and these monuments that are kind of teaching along the way. And Franklin has really become known as the Southern Civil War town doing things differently, because you're going to see the markers from the time there is a Confederate marker still in our downtown that has been there since shortly after the Civil War. But what you're also going to find right next to it is the first statue that was on public land in America honoring the U.S. Colored Troop divisions of the U.S. Army. So there's a statue honoring a USCT soldier and telling the story of those men who went to sign up for the U.S. Army right after they were emancipated in the Battle of Franklin. And just this last week, we unveiled some new markers that acknowledge and honor the various lynchings that happened in downtown Franklin during the Jim Crow and Reconstruction eras. So it's not the rosiest of history that we have, but you're going to find it told very honestly and truthfully here.
I like that, though. I like how communities do that and just sort of face the history, right?
Yeah, and it's at the Civil War homes, kind of one of the more notable ones, a place called the Carter House that's here in downtown Franklin. This summer, they're going to be unveiling a new visitor center that's very interactive, and it's their initial exhibit part of the museum will be entitled All Men Are Created Equal, and it will walk you through history in an interactive way from Revolutionary period to the years right after the Civil War, because that was all connected. It's not just the 4 years of the Civil War that led up. There's a lot of context around on either side of those 4 years of that battle, and they're looking to tell it in an honest, open way.
Lots of history, music, culture, whiskey, wine, you got it all. And you're close to Nashville, if that's not enough. So
Absolutely.
Matthew Moxie is the Senior Director of Public Relations for Visit Franklin, Tennessee. VisitFranklin.com is where you can find out all the information on your visit. I do appreciate your time, Matt. It was great chatting with you.
Absolutely. Anytime, Randy. Thank you.
And that is our show for this week. If you have comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a show idea, send that along as well. My email is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you like what you heard, tell a friend. You can check out our website too at theinformedtraveler.org. In the meantime, thanks for listening, travel safe, and be an informed traveler.